Before you leave, I want to talk to you about that. Before you leave, I want to talk to you about the county thing.
Sure.
What some of the issues they're going to run into, what the other agencies are going to run into when it comes to the supply of medics.
Yeah. I have nothing to do with the
No,
county.
I know, no, I
Yeah,
know that. I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before you leave, I want to talk to you about that. Oh. No, it's the issues they're going to run into, what the other agencies are going to run into when it comes to the supply of medics. What's that?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't recall.
That's it. Recall.
Please, stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first order of business is the minutes from our August 18th meeting.
There's only one error, and I apologize for not getting this to Tracy. And it's when we rescinded the Derek Bean Award, we didn't record the vote there. And I know it was unanimous, and I didn't get a chance to look at the thing online.
Okay.
So I apologize for that. I should have.
Okay.
And so otherwise they're fine.
Any motion to accept them as amended?
I make a motion, we do as amended.
Second, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
In terms of reports, the latest punch list for the stormwater project is in all your bin. We will talk about more about this project in executive session, so everybody realizes what's going on. A little bit of progress got made, and Art and the engineering firm and I have been talking a lot about this in the last couple weeks. Lake Stones project closeout is underway. White Birch, we did receive 2 bids that we will act on later in this meeting. Our current water level is 245.62. We're down about 9 inches from our last meeting, which is why we're all having trouble getting our boats off our hoists. It's expected to drop another 4 inches over the next month. Interestingly, both NOAA and the Farmers Almanac predict a nice snowy winter. We're about 7.5 inches below the long-term average. So,
Are we addressing this at all? Because all the other Great Lakes are right where they're supposed to be, and we're the only one that really dropped according to the maps. Are we doing anything to address this with, I think the IJC has made a mistake in this.
this is an acknowledged problem with the plan. That the GLAM group is doing the expedited review that's going to last 5 years. I think we're in year 3 now. Will address. And that group is well aware that this formula that looks back 12 months to set the current outflow is flawed. That's what's happening. They look back 12 months, we had higher inflows from the other lakes. So they're setting the outflow about 1,000 cubic meters per second higher than probably they should.
Well, this isn't your fault or our fault. It's whoever's in charge. And it's to the point where I think it's really starting to affect tourism, because I had a guest today, couldn't get his boat out, went out fishing, came back, couldn't get his boat out where he brought it in. I had to help him get it out. And, you know, I took my boat out yesterday and felt like crying. I think that we should still be writing letters that say this is how it's affecting us. I mean, it's a joke at the boat launch.
We can absolutely do that.
Yeah,
It's not going to change anything until this expedited review gets completed. But
but
we can absolutely write letters.
I think that a letter from the board is something we should be considering. The effectiveness or maybe getting something from the community and then putting it all into words. I'm not sure what it should look like, and we've certainly got a month to do it. But it's definitely, if it affected me as a nobody.
It's affecting a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
We stopped renting.
yeah,
Yeah. I think maybe possibly in that village, we'll look at
not to mention
legal
that
options. You know,
Not-
is there any, is there? a legal-
not to mention that my dog got a rash, I'm sure I had an elbow in there. And that's only enhanced with the weed whacking. In my opinion, now I'm not a scientist, but it's definitely a problem.
We definitely have a lot of weeds
Yeah,
this year,
we do.
more than normal. Do you want to draft a letter before the next meeting, or do you
Sure.
need to do?
I can do a straw man, and if everybody wants to put their input and make it look pretty, because you know how I write.
All right, on New York Forward, Sharon's going to talk about that in new business, so we all understand what it is and what it is not. Our application is due next Friday. Last week, we did speak with one of the grant administrators, and they've agreed to let us define our business district, because this grant lets you do work in your business district. So they've let us define the business district from Wolcott Street to Centel Street. And then, some of the projects will come out of the LWRP. We did do a straw poll with the residents that attended the LWRP workshop on the 30th. I will share the link again with the community, where you can still comment until the end of September. I think the link is up till September 30th.
So if the expiration is the 23rd and we're going to the 30th with comments, is there an opportunity to revise if things change between?
Yeah, I'm getting there in the next sentence I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Whatever projects are on the application are just straw men to get the application in. We will learn in December if we're successful. If we're successful in January, a formal planning process with a consultant hired by New York State will start. And it'll last for 6 months, and the projects will all be reviewed. They'll be better defined. Real estimates will be created probably by an engineering firm that New York State hires. And then that forms a strategic investment plan that goes to New York State to be blessed. And sometime around this time next year, if we're successful, we'll learn what projects the state thinks can go forward. So it's a lengthy process, but what we're submitting now is just a straw man. And I think we all expect that things will change. RG&E is planning to install smart meters, and in our community, they plan to start that in January and finish in May. So people that aren't going to be around for that period of time, hopefully they have a caretaker, and it'd be really nice if the village knew who your caretaker was, even though RG&E will really be communicating with the homeowner, not with the village. But we do have forms that people can fill out if they're going to be gone for a while, just so we know how to contact you should something happen. Streetlights, we know we have a bunch out. The vendor's been here twice now. They took a couple lights yesterday with some parts that were left over from the project, and they're going to try to rebuild them. They're also going to send the parts they remove to the lab in Albany to try to figure out what happened. We didn't lose all the lights. We lost about 60 of them. We had a brownout, and then we had a very high voltage surge that didn't make it all the way around the village, but at least got to Tidesides and maybe beyond that. I know some people have filed claims with RG&E to get their money back, and RG&E has paid them. All of this should be covered by the maintenance contract that we have through NYPA for our streetlights. So that's going on. The Mark Jones Senior Park, it's got a lot of nice grass on it. We're going to let it grow through the fall. Fire department is planning to put benches and picnic tables and things like that there in the spring. We will, once it opens up, we'll remove the gate and all that stuff. So it's a little bit more inviting. Right now, it looks like a fortress, but that's on purpose. Chuck Sergeant and I met with the SOTUS Town Board today to review the fire department budget. We get $38,000 from the town every year, as does every other fire department in the town of SOTUS. So this year, they've called in every fire department one at a time to go through the budget and put a formal ask in for what they need. Based on what we've heard from other fire departments, we got off easy in the questions they asked us. But Chuck did a good job of being prepared, and Tracy helped fill in a bunch of blanks earlier this afternoon so that we had all that information when we met. In terms of wastewater, 63 inches of supernatant came off the digester. They ordered manhole risers in preparation for the paving. They'll hopefully happen later this fall. Fire extinguishers and emergency exit signs were all inspected and passed. Continued to press most days. And we had 28 inches of rain. October through August, we had 5 inches in August. There is no water report. Jennifer?
I did not submit a report. The only thing I'll point out is that we've had 3 tourism-based publications in the last 60 to 90 days, which I think bolsters our position as far as Great Lakes Scuttlebutt and the Lakeland, as well as the foodie. Not everybody agreed with all of the characteristics that were put in the food, and we missed a few people, but I think it's hard to get everybody in the loop, but I think it's actually good progress.
Absolutely.
So, that's all I have.
Sorry, Bill, I skipped you.
That's all right. Not gonna be much anyway. In regards to our parking patrol or our parking people downtown, we'll get together and work on that this fall and find out whether we're gonna go with maybe a ready-made, a company that's out there that would come in and take care of that through the summer. That was something you would talk about, Lori, for over in the residential area, but it might be something we can get somebody to utilize them to take care of our issues on Main Street and some of our parking problems. So other than that, and that's about the sum and substance of it.
Okay, Bud?
Okay, ambulance,
Thanks,
28
Frank.
responses in August, 27 were ALS assisted, 19 sign-offs, 26 were billables. So far in 2022, 242 responses, including 14 this month. The fundraiser for Civil Waters Ambulance is this Saturday, 17th at Sodas Bay Heights Golf Club at 5:30 till 9. And looking for any help would be greatly appreciated there. Highway Department, been busy with the rains and holiday tests. The monument at the fire hall has been re-landscaped. Playground had its final wood chips for the year put in. Roadway on Featherly Drive, Featherly Overlook has been installed. Roadside mowing is done for September, along with brush collection. And the next brush pickup will be October 11th. The Highway Department is aware of the street lights that are out that we just talked about due to the power outage, and they're doing what they can with the power authority to address that. The agenda for next month consists of paving, which we're going to go over here shortly, and there's some tree work that needs to be finished up before winter, so pre-winter maintenance will start on very soon.
Lori?
The LWRP has been really active. We had a prep meeting prior to the actual event on August 31st. The event was conducted in a great manner, professional, and was very well attended. And it had a great spirit to it. And I'd like to congratulate Sharon Lilla and the group for all of that. The great ideas that we've been talking about for the master plan were brought forward and prioritized and can still be added to through the village website. The CEC, the final paperwork is almost complete. Dave put everything together today. And it looks like it'll go in by the end of the week for 10 EV stations. And we believe that will be 100% funded. So we're waiting to find out, but that will go through the final grant process. The parks, the playground committee was postponed for September 20th due to the school conferences that came up all of a sudden and people forgot what it was like to go back to school. So it was pretty funny. I got 2 calls on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, and the last one was, I really don't think I can make it. And I said, I already sent the letter out. She said, I haven't had time to look at my computer. It was cute. And the Sodas Point Information Center was very successful this year. For the amount of hours it was open, it had 901 people sign the book in the 47 days. And that's more than half of what they used to have when they were open 7 days a week. So that showed the increase. I'd like to say thank you to Alice Bill, Bob Jones, and Linda Michelson for making this a welcome center for all newcomers. And the process for us seems to be somewhat seamless. Tracy might argue with me, but I know that everything went very well and seemed to be well taken. And that's it.
Kevin?
For August, I had 9 new building permits issued. We had 2 new reviews added. We have multiple new reviews still coming up this month. $1,160.80 in fees generated. And I've signed up for all my training for the rest of the year now. So I've actually over my training, but signed up to the end of the year.
Awesome. Public comment. In the room first. Yeah.
You want to pull the podium over, Bill? So,
Dave, we talked about this earlier, and I'm assuming that you're gonna take care of that for me, so I'm not gonna bring it up. But what I did wanna say is what a great attendance we had at the LWRP. Sharon, you did an awesome job. We all did. And I think I just wanted to let everyone know it was really well-rounded. Like there was a lot of people from the Heights. There were a lot of people from Margaretta Road. There were people from the Loop. There were people, downtown business owners attended, which was awesome. The business owners along 14 attended. There was even some people from Santel. I was thrilled to see some people from Fitzhugh, up and down Fitzhugh. And of course, the Russ, your numbered streets, yeah. So yeah, so I want to make sure the board understands that it was a very diverse and group of individuals that I think really represented the village. And although some people were a little concerned about COVID and they didn't stay for a long time, you know, because of hovering over the tables, I think that they will go online. But I thought the people that were there, they talked to each other, everyone, they were well represented from everywhere in the village. So I just wanted to say that. And then I know you left this out and you didn't mean to, but Parade of the Potters, oh my goodness, I got a chance to ride in the parade this year. I actually rode in one of Bruce Carey's limousines, so it was awesome. Potters did a great job as usual, so thank you to them. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nixon.
Anybody else in the room? Anybody online?
You'll have to put the, oh, okay.
Just Dave, real quick, it's Vince Motherly. Just my comment on the project to improve the drainage on Central Avenue. That seems to be working like extremely well, and it looks good. And it's like I think everyone appreciates the effort that went into the redo of the design. And so far, I mean, we haven't had that many like big rains, but the ones that we had, there's been no issues whatsoever. So that was well done.
Super, thank you.
Yeah, now we just have to finish paving the rest of South Shore and Central. Not that I'm bugging, It just would be nice. And you can save money. Don't fix the streetlights by us. I like looking at the stars. Use that money for the paving contract. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, you're not alone in the brightness, and Brad said once they're all working again, he's gonna dim them all down to about 80% and see what.
Okay. I think that would be, well, certainly up here would be good because I know that I have flown over Sodas Point between Syracuse and Rochester, and you can see the streetlights from about 10,000 feet.
Yeah. That's true.
Not wrong.
All right, Vince, anything else?
That's it. But that drainage project was a big one, but I think it's good. You guys did a great job.
Thank you. It was all Brad's work, so, anybody else online? All right, we'll close public comment. And there's no new business, so we will move to, I'm sorry, there's no old business, so we'll move to new business. I'm doing two things at once, and it's not working out.
You can help.
And Sharon is gonna come up and talk about the New York Forward and correct my errors.
Nothing to correct. How about if people can't see them? They can't see you.
Just so you know, you
The
can
view is great there, Sharon.
You?
Okay,
All right, this would be like talking to a wall. Is that-
take it for what it's worth.
I don't have a lot to add from what Dave said. Everything that he said is absolutely accurate. But we do have a list of projects that we're including in the New York Forward application. And that list of projects came from the LWRP process, the active transportation plan process, the recently released parking study process, lots of places, lots of public input. And so I think it's a good list. And the village board has vetted that list, and so far so good. But what we're going to do, or what I'm including here, and with your permission, which I'm guessing you've already given me because I've seen the emails, design and construct a public pier with transient docking. And then I've taken the liberty of asking you for another project that actually goes hand in hand with that, because the location of the public pier is very likely going to be across from the condos. Because the developer has indicated that he's willing to donate, if he closes on the property, he's willing to donate 150 linear feet of bayfront so we can do this. So anyway, the next logical thing to do there would be to put a sidewalk in from where it ends. It's like the sidewalk to nowhere on South Fitzhugh Street, which is basically what it was called in the active transportation plan. This is the sidewalk to nowhere.
One of the sidewalks.
Yeah, one of the sidewalks. But this
We
one,
have some.
and so get that sidewalk down to where the community pier is going to be. So I added that as a project, and hopefully you guys are okay with that, because it goes hand in hand. If you're gonna do a community pier, then you want to connect it to the rest of your community, particularly the downtown. So that's actually embedded in the public pier project. So the other project is, which was in the LWRP, is to actually extend the pedestrian walkway all the way down to South Shore.
Yeah, that needs to be done.
So now we've got a connection, well, in the LWRP, it's down to First Creek. And now we've got a connection from First Creek, where someday I hope that we have an improved fishing access site there, which, by the way, I know that's one of your favorites, Maxine. That was, and I'm certain it will come up in the strategic investment planning process if we're lucky enough to get this money. So anyway, that creates a complete connection through the business district that we're talking about here, all the way down to Craig Street. So are you guys okay with that? Including that in there? Okay. So the other projects so far, a lot of work at Willow Park.
One question on that, 'cause I did have somebody ask me about it. That would be on the same side of the road as the Genesee Malt House, and it wouldn't be on the lake side, it'd be on the opposite side.
So
Because
the way it's written in the active transportation plan, and you know, the active transportation plan had the New York State Department of Transportation
right,
on the committee. All right. The project will involve the construction of a 5-foot wide sidewalk along the east side of State Route 14.
They
Ending,
said,
but ending at the site of the community pier. However, the sidewalk will extend across the street with a crosswalk into Harriman Park to create a connection there and to avoid heavy vehicular traffic at the boat launch. So I don't know if it will end up going up the west side, but in all likelihood, it will stay on the east side. And it proposes some restriping so that you have this visual widening of the east side, and you don't impact the actual travel lanes. There's a lot to it.
yeah. Well, one of the things when they're looking at this, and maybe you already have looked at that, it's a really tight with all the homes that are, and with the water as well in some areas. So I'm thinking there's a lot more room on the west side than the east side. And several of the homeowners said if they do this, that's a real issue for us because we don't have any road frontage anyway.
And so that'll all come out. Again, this is a,
Preliminary.
it's so preliminary. I hate to even call it preliminary. It's like,
And there'll be engineers from the state
Yeah.
involved that will help sort out.
and you can,
Yeah, I mean,
you can bet
the
DOT,
road,
Yeah,
Yeah.
New York State DOT is gonna tell us where this can go.
yeah.
So, yeah, and I hear what you're saying, and it makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Sure thing. So yeah, that's, all right, that's the project. A lot of Willow Park stuff. Design study and implementation. I'm not sure how I'm gonna group these yet. And Lori, I so far I've written them out into 3 separate projects.
Okay.
They may end up getting grouped into one during the strategic investment plan. But it would be the design study and implementation. And then the overlook viewing area and finger docks down at the that area that borders on the bay. And then ADA compliant public restrooms, which will land, in all likelihood, land somewhere in Willow Park, and I've written it up that way. But they're 3 separate projects, 3 separate budgets. I suspect they'll end up
Together.
in the strategic investment planning process. So if you're all right with that, that's the way.
Yeah, no, that's the way it should be.
Okay.
Is there parking?
So I'm going to talk about parking now. The next one is the north and south municipal parking lots are in terrible shape, and they need to be redone and redesigned and restriped and all of that stuff. So, that is a project here, replacing the north and south municipal parking lots and using green infrastructure technology to do that. And the state is looking for environmentally friendly projects. They use big words like decarbonization when they're talking about building, and green infrastructure when they're talking about things like water quality. We have a lot of green infrastructure in the village right now. There's rain gardens at the Sill Landing kayak launch. They're downtown. We have a big bioretention swale in Oscar First Park. This is a logical extension of what you've been doing to preserve water quality, so to say. And that's the way also that I'm going to write that up.
I think when we're doing that too, and the engineer can be brought in by this, I think we have to rethink the parking and the park, because the park is gonna need to have some work done on it, because every year it's wet. And so it needs drainage and it needs a lot of stuff, and it needs some regrading. And so maybe the park and the parking lot change places. Maybe they stay the same, but I don't think we should close our minds. I think it should remain open.
No, there's gonna be an overall look at the entire layout of
Yes.
everything here to
Yeah.
see what works.
Yeah, there's a big drainage problem, both in the parking lot and in
Yeah.
Willow Park. And there is a stub
Bless you.
under the road at the entrance to that parking lot to drain those areas into, should that be the ultimate design.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
All right, that's the parking lot. Okay, Sodas Point Tourism and Marketing Promotion Strategy. I'm asking for $250,000 for that. It will include, bear with me here. I've been writing all day. I've actually been writing for 3 days straight. You understand that, don't you? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the project will involve the development of a comprehensive tourism promotion plan to expand the village's market area beyond the Rochester Finger Lakes region and beyond the summer months. Redefine and brand Sodas Point as a four-season community, four-season destination, and identify and deploy a variety of print, web-based, and mass media marketing strategies. Design and install common themed wayfaring signage throughout the village. And place informational kiosks at strategic locations in the business district. And I think I want to add to this, because we've got so much going on. There are places around the village where informational and educational storyboards, I think, would be very, very useful. And a storyboard that explains why we're doing green infrastructure, why do we have a bioretention swale in Oscar First Park? You know, what does that do to Soda Spade water quality? Stuff like that. And perhaps an informational storyboard up by the lighthouse about the history. A War of 1812 storyboard, things like that. I've been in a lot of downtowns that are doing the same thing Sodas Point is doing. And I watch people stop and linger at these storyboards. And they spend time reading and learning about the community. So with your permission, I just add that to this.
I saw a lot of storyboards in a couple of the parks that we had for the same reason, so that you'd understand about the ADA push and adult parks, what you're supposed to get out of a musical portion of a park. And they were really well done. And and while we're just talking about the park, does anybody know why it's called Willow Park other than the one tree? And is there a reason that can it be changed?
I don't know the answer to that question.
You can always change the name.
Okay. So it could go more with the branding, or
Or you could honor a historical figure if you wanted to.
Help me, what park is that?
Willow Park, it's where the playground equipment is.
well, Silver Waters, or
And the north and south parking lot, what is that?
Well, that's basically the same parking lot as between House Point and Willow Park. There's a north end and south end to
And
it.
that's not the parking lot for the new village dock.
No.
So what's the parking to be the dock?
Yeah, that will be determined when we lay out the whole project during the strategic investment process. So. Final one I have on here is establish a small business financial support program. Designed to induce additional private investment in the business district, sustain existing businesses, and continue to upgrade the downtown experience for residents and visitors. The investment program will support property owners and small businesses by providing funds to improve storefront facades if people want to do that. Mechanical systems, electrical systems, lighting, and new signage. So that makes it a little easier on the small business community, and hopefully it will induce greater investment in the downtown area. And I'm hoping, now let me tell you what the budget is. We're applying for $4.5 million. They want you to identify projects over and above $4.5 million. So I've got designing and constructing a public pier with transient docking. That's $1 million project. But I've also added the $750,000 that the developer has indicated will be invested in the condo site. And so with that, I can demonstrate that we'll ask for $1 million from DRI, but it will leverage $750,000 in private investment. So that's a big deal when doing the grant application.
Joe, is there a plan for the dock yet? Did somebody start drawing on that yet, or are we just gonna apply? I mean, do we have a plan that we're submitting with that, of what it's
No,
gonna
not
look like?
yet. I'm gonna have Sarah Costage is preparing me just a conceptual overlay. You really don't need anything more than that when you're, they just want to see some sort of visual picture of what where it's going to be located and perhaps how long it is and how it relates spatially to the other surrounding development. So we'll just lay something down and but the rubber meets the road with a strategic investment.
That's not a very deep area. It's not much water there.
Oh, I've been told it's pretty deep there.
It was Horse Dredge where the marina that replaced the coal pier was. That's quite deep. It's further south, it's not very deep. Just looking at Navionics. I mean, it's
Not right now. It's not.
well, not right now, but it's
Not very deep.
Nothing is, I mean, how you can skip a rock, but.
yeah. I mean, it's hardly any better than Leon.
I doubt that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
And
look at it. It's important.
we've
Look at it.
and we've driven boats in there to make sure.
So Sharon, I think there's a lot of people here that like to know what the project that had the most votes, what's happened to that? I will defer to the village board.
The project that had the most votes was the boardwalk from the north side of the business district over to Wickham Boulevard.
It's visual and public access to the water.
Yep.
That's right. This
With-
and the what, yeah,
with-
and the greenway path along.
With shops that opened up onto the boardwalk, sidewalk, whatever.
Right, with shops that opened up along Bay. I mean, we had a lot of people from all over the village of Sodas Point that felt that was a valuable project. Why was that not included, Dave?
I don't see how it's possible to make that happen in the next 5 years. At some point, it may be, it's certainly something we shouldn't forget. But we've tried to put forth projects that could actually be implemented, because that's what the grant's looking for. We would have to fight to get property control with many people, and it's just not worth it.
So the other part of this too, as a practical matter, if the project submitted as part of a grant application generates any kind of public controversy, that makes things difficult.
Well, I think you're gonna have a lot of controversy, I'll tell you that right now, because there's an awful lot of people, not just in this room, and not just on the numbered streets, that felt that was extremely valuable. It was in the last LWRP, both of those projects, and now you're going to ignore it. Shame on you. Shame on
Hang
you.
on just a minute, all right? There might be a compromise here because of the process.
And the process, which is we lay out our wish list. And we send it in as part of this application. But again, like I said, and like we understand from the New York Forward program, the rubber really meets the road when we do the strategic investment plan. So there is no harm really in putting it in the application.
Yeah, I mean,
It
to be
doesn't-
quite honest with you, this board doesn't have the, you know what, I can't even believe it. I can't believe it.
Well, we have to be able to demonstrate property control in a reasonable period of time.
It's not property control, Dave. It was in the LWRP. It's been in every single document that has.
I don't dispute that at all.
This village.
All I'm telling you is to build it, wherever it's built, we need to be able to get property control. And that's going to be an uphill battle. And probably will cost more than $4.5 million.
I don't believe it, just so you know.
That's fine.
All the people along.
I know a lot of people want it, but they don't own the property that it'll be on. That's the bottom line.
All the businesses except one are in agreement with having a boardwalk. That's it, one business.
Now, we'll see what happens if we're lucky enough to get the grant. Certainly won't be forgotten, and it'll come up in that process.
I'm trying to get the vision for this.
So basically what it is it's access, a lot of access to the water was taken away, okay? It connects, it goes back to connecting, yes, it does, it is, part of it is the right of way, okay? But it's also connecting the village together the way it used to be, you know? I mean, you used to be able to walk around.
It'll
All the way around.
It won't be forgotten. And we'll see what the final tally is on the votes in October when all the voting is done by everybody that wants to vote.
Yeah,
So the location was never really discussed
yeah.
during the LWRP meeting where we were voting for the different things that we thought were important. I don't think anybody had any context of where the public pier or where these things would be located. So I'm not sure that there was full transparency as to the potential options. So I'm not saying either or location is bad. I'm just saying I don't know that that was socialized during the discussion.
You mean the location of the community pier?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't have a location, and we really have never had a location. It's been included in plans as a concept. This is what we would like, and if a location pops up,
And
Then-
until last week, we
There
were
was
looking at 2 different locations and one fell apart this week. This one may fall apart next week.
I'm just thinking of the continuity of this access to visual and physical access to the water and having the pier being on the opposite side of the bay. Is that a well thought out strategy?
We dropped the ball years ago when we had a couple of places open up down by the yacht club. And we dropped the ball majorly down there. Where the old marina was that was there. I mean, you had ideal spot to the, close to the downtown. You're talking about building a walkway from up on my end of town, which that's great. However, you still got to dock there and walk downtown to get to a dinner place or that type of thing. If you did it downtown, you'd still have to walk uptown to get, so it's like, we just dropped the ball. It should have been, I say boards before us have dropped the ball. And when something like that comes up, you almost, excuse the expression, got to steal the money to take it, because it's going to come to something down the road in a few years. If not right then, a few years down the road, Maxine, it's like you're talking. Back many years ago, we walked along the shoreline. I rode bikes along the shoreline. However, that's many years ago. You know how people have changed, okay? And, well, yeah, there's a lot of scrapping going on, and there doesn't need to be.
Sharon, can I ask you one question?
Oh, yes.
If I understand it correctly, that's just a wish list. That could all literally be burnt and we could start over if we win the grant, right? And just start over on a brand new
Location.
project.
could
Well,
be-
yeah, and that's.
Locations could change and projects. could
Right.
Yeah,
change.
So the
yeah.
order of
We
the
could-
projects would also be something that'd be interesting to understand. If you're gonna do the tourism thing and the strategy thing, all of the location things should actually fold out of that larger strategy. I mean, putting things places and then trying to put a strategy together around where they've fallen is more complicated than having a strategy and then unfolding where things will be located after that. So I'm just curious, does that have any, do you have any control over how those projects fall out of it?
I'm not sure I really understand what you're saying. Are you saying that before we develop a strategy for promoting the village, we should have all the sites identified?
I think you need to have your options identified before you can build a strategy.
Sure, and most of them will, see, we're not gonna be building a strategy until you get through the strategic investment plan. Because the strategy is one of the projects. When you get through the strategic investment plan, you're gonna know what projects you're gonna build and where they're gonna be.
And then you go from there.
But in
You'll
order
know
to
their
suss out the
location.
costs, you have to understand the locations as
And
options.
we only got till the 23rd, is it, or 28th?
23rd.
To assess out the costs of what?
No,
The choices of the
to
places
get
you're
these
gonna
things.
put things. If you're gonna put the public gear over by the condos, there's a cost that you can calculate. If you're going to put it somewhere else,
Yeah, and
We
that's all
we
done.
have to have an opportunity to put it,
right?
and right now, that's the only opportunity we have.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no-
honestly,
no other
that's-
option right now.
I've talked to tons of property owners along the water and business owners. And even people who most of us think are crazy not to sell or donate, they're not interested, so.
One of the things too, is a concept that is missing in Sodas Point, because Sodas Bay is a de facto highway for us. Sodas Bay is another transportation network, and it's an underserved transportation network in terms of where we offer people a place to dock, to park. We don't do that. We've never done that. And so this transportation network needs a transportation hub. And that's what this is all about. Bill's right. I remember when we had a chance to do a community here right downtown, and we just blew it, completely blew it.
Well, the other thing that Frank Schertz did years ago, and here I go back years ago, like everybody else has, but Frank rented a couple of docks or at our marina or next to us, and they were marked so people could come in, go to his store and leave. Just another outcropping of what might possibly be able to be done. But like you say, you still gotta have a place. If you're gonna do a public dock, you've gotta know, have some idea what you're gonna do. And
Sure, and I hear what everybody's saying, and what I think Jen's saying is, as far as an identifier, identifying the projects, we're only gonna have a week to decide, we're gonna put this plan, I'm saying as far as, we put this plan in, this strategic planning event in, are those then identified as we have to work on those, or we
No,
can't?
No,
move
you're,
them around?
yeah, so what you might be missing here is that this is a wish list.
Mhm.
These projects have been identified in a number of citizen-led planning processes through the Active Transportation Plan, the LWRP, even the Downtown Vision Plan, which even though it was done back in 2007, had like 110 people participate and put that together, and much of that vision plan is still relevant. We put in projects that have been vetted so far by the community. And that proves to the funding agency that we actually have publicly supported projects pretty much ready to go. They say, okay, that looks good. We're gonna award you $4.5 million, but before you get that money, we're gonna send our consultants down to you, and we're gonna send a representative from, I think it's the Department of State, and we're gonna sit with your committee, of which you're a member of, and we're gonna work intensively with you for 6 months to either make these projects a reality, include them as part of the budget, or identify others that are perhaps more strategically ready to go forward, and you'll throw something else out of here. So, yeah, this is not cast in stone.
Okay.
And nobody should, yeah, I want to make sure everybody understands this is not cast in stone. These are projects that came from a process that the village has been preparing to do this for 4 years now through a variety of planning initiatives.
Okay,
Well,
and-
I mean, I just need to
Just
say
a minute,
one more thing.
this is
No,
this is
because
board
you know
time.
what, those projects that you're referring to were in those plans. They're fully vetted, Sharon. They were part of the downtown.
I understand that. I don't have a quarrel with that. I know they're fully vetted.
They're fully vetted.
One more question, Chair. I'm asking, in the strategic planning, is long-term maintenance and care, is that included part of the cost in that?
You will do that. You will develop those budgets as part of the strategic investment plan.
Okay. So I know that's been
Without
one of the
que-
concerns,
yeah,
you know, some of the
without
things that we've been doing going forward. I'd like to see more of that incorporated, and so we're,
You're gonna have the chance to do that if we're lucky enough to get this month.
yeah, I just think it is, the people that I talk to as taxpayers are concerned that, you know, we add the gazebo, we're adding these little picnic areas in the park, and we're doing some upgrades to the park. Who's gonna pay for it in the long run is the question that keeps coming up.
Yeah, we have,
It's legitimate ask.
we have, three enormous projects, and Willow Park is an enormous project. Community Pier is an enormous project. The redoing of the parking lot, that's pretty darn big. So, yeah, a strategic investment plan means laying out your operation and maintenance financial responsibilities over time, and hopefully it will be done in the form of an asset management plan.
And just for fun, the difference between a playground now and a playground when Willow Park was built. Now you have poured floors. Nobody's got to go around and take care of those little bricks. Nobody has to go around and do weeding of the chips. The chips don't go down so the kids can't get on the rides. I mean, it's incredible. And I've seen one that's 10 years old that looks like it's new. And when you talk to the Webster people that take care of it, they're saying, go for this. This is good stuff. And now their park, they all have benches all around the parks. Now they're putting the benches in the parks, so you don't have to do around those either. So those are all opportunities that we didn't have 10 or 20 years ago. So, and they're porous and they're environmentally
Any
friendly.
more questions for Sharon?
Thanks, Sharon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next order of new business is to award the White Birch project, big stabilization project.
I have one question.
Yep.
Do we have anything in writing from White Birch saying that we can do this? Have they signed off on anything?
Yes,
Okay,
they've signed off on the maintenance plan for the shoreline.
okay, all right,
And they signed off in front of the Department of State.
okay. So all the insurances and everything are all set? and ready?
Yes.
Okay, so,
We had two bids, one from Burroughs Brothers for $763,000 and one from Ecotech for $449. $449,000.
They're throwing up a page behind it.
Throw an extra $500 out. First time today I've made that kind of mistake. Interestingly, the $449,000 is pretty close to the engineer's estimate for this project. So Ecotech is the one that did that. We have a letter from Elliott Engineers recommending that that's the direction we follow. We do not have a budget to do boroughs.
but we do have the budget for this?
Yes,
What were we approved on that then?
500 and some $1,000.
So what happens with the other money on that? Since it was for White Birch?
Well, some of it was, a lot of it's been spent on engineering already.
Oh, okay,
And that's the total project cost, not the construction cost.
okay,
And if there's money left over, we'll get more rocks and just go a little bit further than the plan says,
perfect.
because that's really the big deal. We need to go as far as we can.
What was the reason that we can't go in the water besides the fact it's too darn shallow? Is that it?
With
It-
the-
For the
it-
equipment?
Well, it's illegal to go to drive your equipment in the water.
Okay,
Alternatively, we barge rocks there, but that adds tremendous expense. That's
Okay.
probably what Burroughs was planning.
okay. Thank you. I move that we approve $449,000 for the project with Ecotech for White Birch.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Right.
Okay, the next is South Shore driveway repair. This is a driveway that was damaged in fixing a water leak over the winter. Rather than using the bucket to push stone in the hole, we used the teeth. So we definitely owe this resident a new driveway, and I'm trying to find the quotes and trying to put these in the right order.
So all county, so it gets a little confusing because all county, you're gonna have two, one's for paving and one's for the driveway. So all county split it out and Onyx Paving did not. So you're gonna see all county has a proposal for this driveway for $33,250.
Oh, yeah.
See that one?
Says
Right.
Stowe Road, 24 by 27 area.
And then the Onyx, if you look at the second page, it's the very last line of the second page of the Onyx. 8423 So Road, and that is 2,800. So that's not, that's just not. So when you look at all of them together, is there any savings between one or the other vendor? So we have multiple quotes for multiple locations.
The driveway, Onyx is cheapest. And the rest of the paving, all county is significant.
So are we looking at it holistically or are we looking at based on?
We can do it either way.
I think you should look at the overall savings.
I haven't added these up, and
So the all county paving is 191,750. Plus the 3,200 plus if we're apples to adding those two things together.
Yep.
And then the Onyx is the 231,000.
plus 20.
Which
overall- That's inclusive?
Yeah, so overall, all county is less expensive. Do we have to do a motion separately for Silver Shore Road, or do we do one paving motion?
We can do it either way.
South Shore Road, would they come out of, like, there wouldn't be out of CHIPS money in that, right? That would be out of our own cost.
That's out of our own.
I would think I would do them separately then. Because they're coming from different, excuse the expression, pockets.
Right.
I'm assuming CHIPS money is probably part of the blacktopping in that,
Yes.
and the other one comes out of taxpayer dollars in essence. I mean, it all does, but you know what I mean. I make a motion that we do the sills repair on the driveway with all counties still.
Onyx is the cheaper.
Oh, Onyx is the cheaper?
Yeah.
On Silver Shore.
All right.
Can we go back to all county and,
They're already lower.
yeah, they're lower overall, but I'm saying on this, if we separate this out, can we go back to them on there, or do we have to accept their?
No,
numbers as is?
we
So
have
the
to
only-
accept their bid.
So the only thing is with, if you wanna look at it, the driveway is not apples to, because it's 1.5 versus 2.5. So if you look at the details,
You're right.
it's up to you guys, but then, you know, just because it's kind of, Brad asked Onyx multiple times to separate this out and could not. So if we ask all county to do the same amount of pavement that the Onyx people bid for the driveway, I don't think they're gonna be $30,000 more. Because we're
No.
talking about
No.
$35,000 difference between the two bids for the entire work.
Yeah, and all county indicated what kind of asphalt they were gonna use. I haven't seen that on the
So if we
next
ask,
bid.
if we ask for the thicker or more for the driveway, I think we're still gonna be, the little bit is still gonna be all
And we also have to take. we have to-
Yeah.
it's a-
All of this is very confusing. So let's deal with the driveway first. Or Silk Shore Road.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, if that's the case. So Onyx is gonna do less blacktop.
No.
Yeah,
No,
We're
more
gonna do
black.
more blacktop for less money.
My motion will be then we use Onyx for the driveway, and I hate to break it up this way, but we use Onyx for the driveway. And then who's the cheapest between the two for the, and All County for the balance that's paid with the chips. I know we're going with two different companies, but you know what? That's the way we asked
I
for
mean,
it.
it's.
That's the way we should get it.
All right, but let's,
All right, so,
so you made it, let's say you made a driveway motion on.
yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Right
Yes.
84,
So
23,
you're moving
social
that Onyx.
driveway.
Yes,
And what's the total cost?
2800.
2,800 versus the 3,200.
yes. That's my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, before we start digging into the chips part, we don't have money in chips to do all these roads. So we need to take Hillside Drive off.
Wait a minute, it's my neighborhood.
Both quotes.
That's $38,275.
Why is that being taken out?
When does the CHIPS money come in? Because I noticed that in the, I looked through the accounting. Let's see,
Once we,
and I saw that it was supposed to come.
we have to expense it first, then we submit it, and then we get reimbursed for it. It doesn't just come up, we don't just get that money automatically.
So we don't have any other place to get this, to go ahead and do it, is that it?
Right.
To get the total amount of chips?
No,
Right.
we
They give us a dollar amount and that's it.
we will spend all the chips money that we can,
Okay,
but we do not have enough chips money to pave Hillside Drive. And that was Brad's decision to
Yeah.
take that off.
Is that a condition thing compared to all
So,
the other
but
roads?
for the
that-
roads, it's, each road can only be paved certain times, they have, through chips when you submit it. through chips. You can't pave a road
So many times.
so many
within a certain
times within
period.
it, yes. So he's picking the one,
That's
Hillside
already
is one,
done.
but
And some of that has to do with
it's
mobilization,
timing, it's,
because we do have to do Central Avenue, Hillside Drive, South Shore Road. And some of that will probably happen next year.
So what are we looking at then? We're looking at the bids less Hillside?
Yes,
what do we have in the CHIPS money?
less than $200,000, 183.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's right. I knew I'd seen that.
So does Onyx have that broken out separately, or do they just have one big?
No, it is broken out on the second
it's on that
page.
second page. So Hillside for Onyx is 59,000. See it up there. And then
They're so more, why are they so much more expensive? $20,000 more to do that one road.
Well, we think Onyx represents lots of smaller paving companies.
Oh, okay. Another subcontract.
That can be an issue.
Yep.
Well,
and honestly, that's what happened with the stormwater project. So we're definitely want to shy away from that.
the difference between the 191 and the 183 is only $18,000.
What's that?
We have 183
Right.
common, right, in chips, and the proposal is 191 for everything. There's no place else to get it. I mean, if you're doing all this, it seems like you would want to just do it and get it done.
That will
the
be
money's in the
reimbursed, is what
budget.
you're saying.
Right, it just won't,
We
yeah.
won't,
we would have
we
to-
won't. we
Oh,
won't.
it wouldn't be.
No,
reimbursed.
no.
No.
That's
Well,
why
they'd
they
have to-
basically have a budget of
They'd have to-
183 or whatever.
Why
They'll
would
get
we,
that back, But if you go to the full 191,
That's coming out of our pocket.
then it's coming out of our
$8,000
pocket.
we gotta pull out somewhere.
So if we pull out something that's $18,000, well, we got a
I
1675.
think there was a characteristic of it, that frequency within a certain period that said that Hillside would be the one that would be pulled out.
Okay.
And the difference in price, Onyx minus Hillside is $171,510,000. All county is $152,475. So they're 20 grand different.
Yeah,
Right, I was just wondering why we're doing the numbered streets now versus a lot of the other paving that needs to be done.
So Brad did the.
Yeah, obviously there's a matrix for it, just because there's no real traffic on those streets other than
yeah.
3-4 houses apiece for the road there.
But if you look at those streets, and we learned through the stormwater project what base is actually under those roads. Not much.
I'll make a motion to approve the all county 152,475. We're moving out the Hillside Drive line item.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I
All right. Thank you. Sorry.
It wasn't.
You took it well.
What was that number?
159,475.
I never want to leave anything on the table, okay? If you can leave it $18,000 behind in the CHIPS money, where else can we spend CHIPS money to get that 18,000 used? I mean,
Oh, it rolls over.
We don't
We
lose.
don't carry it.
we don't.
We do not lose.
Okay, got it. All right, we're good. I'm happy. Thank you.
All right, we're on to wastewater electrical work folks, and what this really is replacing some of their lights with LED lights. They have two quotes. One from Lavetti Electric for $22,280 and one from Sodas Bay Electric for $3,380.
We're doing this for savings overall, or they're broken, or
They can't see, their lights are,
that's what I want to know. Are they broken, or are we just replacing lights because they look good?
no, some of them don't work and they can't see.
Do we have any experience with, is it Levetti?
He does most of our work.
Yeah, but
Levetti?
Yeah.
so is Bay's replacing 10 lights
Yep.
and Lavetti's place replacing 7 or?
No, it's 7
Yes.
plus 3, there's
Yeah.
10 altogether.
10%.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's 10%.
No.
No,
they're
they're not the same.
Lavetti's putting in fewer lights because on his evaluation, that's all that's needed to light the area.
They don't need as much.
There are 10 fixtures in the plant. So does Bay Electric is suggesting replacing everything. And Lavetti is saying you don't need to do that. You can remove all 10 and we'll put 7 in and you'll have plenty of money.
Did we go back to Sodas Bay Electric and ask?
Right,
for
'cause we're
price
not
for
doing
the same
apples to
product?
apples here now.
These are 2x4 versus 1x4. He sourced larger strips too. He's got a 2x4 versus a 1x4, so he's emitting more light with the lights that he's putting in there too. On the second line.
Yes.
Oh, no.
10, yeah.
So they're bigger lights, that's actually.
We can try to get light quotes. That might be a better approach.
Just so they're the same.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, we will move on to.
we can do that on the October 15th, right?
Yeah, there's no
Rush.
urgency.
Okay.
Next with their truck, and I'll let Tracy talk about it, because she knows a lot more than me.
So back in August of 2021, we approved through Van Bortle the 36 for our wastewater truck, 37,558. And that never happened. That there was but it just, the deal did not happen.
The order was
The
placed.
order did not go through. So now Van Bortle will not honor that. And obviously, a year later, it's, we all know what's happening with vehicles. So unfortunately, in research and trying to even find something that's like that, in the highlighted area, it's now going to be $53 thousand, 53,345. So that's why I'm bringing that back to you guys. I mean, we still have, you know, the truck that we will send to auction. It holds, they hold their value. So I mean, at the time, I think it was basically going to be a wash. That was, you know, it
What
won't
is
be,
the cost
it
to
won't be
us
that now.
if we buy a new truck at this point?
So
53,000.
53,000, and then we used to get state bid, we used to get
Right.
pretty decent deals. That's not happening now.
And how old is this truck and how many miles?
So it's in need. I don't know how many miles, the mileage is no.
This will all.
It does, yeah, the mileage doesn't ever,
And what does it need to get fixed?
nothing to get fixed. It's just,
Then I say we put it out for bid then, again, if the Bordeaux's are not gonna honor their price, then. why-
well, this is, Bert,
Burt,
they-
oh, yeah, Burt.
Well,
their Van Bordeaux won't even, we can't even get them to give us a new price. They won't.
I think we just keep the
So-
truck until things shake out.
I'm with you.
And the other thing is, it's 18
It's like
months.
$25,000.
Yeah, it's 18 months. to
18
what
months, like if we order it tomorrow, it won't be, wouldn't get it for 18 months. So
Well,
that's another thing to factor
The
in.
sheriff's department just went through it. They had a whole bunch of the Ford, whatever they are that they're using, that
The
cost
cost,
them 8K more a piece
yeah,
because of the pandemic, because of all this other, well, that's what everybody says.
one of the
anyway,
issues,
but anyway.
one of the issues we run into is the color of our vehicles. We could go tomorrow and get a white one, just like that. But red,
It costs
it's
less to
just
paint than
not.
anything for this.
Well, we actually looked into that. We looked into getting a
The whole
white
thing
one
just
and
painted.
having it painted. We looked into,
I
trust me.
don't think we
It's-
need to have a paint job cost us a ton of money.
So.
We'll put in Isota's point thing and we're now into white trucks or whatever's cheapest.
We had a white.
Dump truck.
Mark had a white truck.
I got a spray gun, I'll be happy to throw some right on it, not a problem. Zero.
But
Right,
if
well,
there-
that's gonna look like.
if the truck is low mileage,
I can't remember.
I honestly
they're
feel
not
like.
gonna get a state
I think
money
we need to
for it.
shop
But I
Right.
think if you buy this, you're gonna run into the same problem with availability for parts to be fixed.
They
The brand new
just
car,
bought-
there's not gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
I
think
heard
we should
people saying they
hang
have
on to
cars that are warranty that they can't.
They just put brakes and a whole bunch of stuff into it.
Fix them.
It'll win from that.
I mean, yeah.
it.
I think I say let's start shopping more aggressively, let's look out of state, I know a friend of mine went down to Virginia and Florida. Bought trucks that they couldn't buy up here, went down there, they had 10 on the lot, I mean, I don't know if that's something that's within our.
The other thing is too, you work towards, get it through the winter. Get it through the winter till spring and start looking, because I know,
They've put tires on it and brakes on
I
it.
think we put the truck.
yeah, I think if for another 6 months or whatever to see what price.
6 months and.
We'll see when the market comes down and see
There
what
you go.
happens with the truck.
Yeah.
All right.
think
On to tree removal quotes. We have one from Empire Tree, and this is for trees around the village. They are the same trees, even though the quotes are written differently. Empire Trees is $6,250, and Split Right is $3,700.
Both are insured.
Yep,
Split Right's who we use for the grinding.
I make a motion, we go with Split Right.
Quick question, how do we do with these, the mulching and the grinding, everything go off without a hitch? I know that's the first time. Okay, yeah.
took longer than they thought it would, but it all went fine.
Okay, that,
And a lot of times.
yeah, caring not about the cost, or the time, that's their cost, not ours, so. Yep, okay.
So you made a motion.
That's my motion. We go with Split Right.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Hi.
Right. Just the stormwater one. Yep. Whereas the Village of Sodas Point Board of Trustees has established a stormwater reserve fund. Whereas the Village of Sodas Point Board of Trustees approved Central Ave Stormwater Project in the amount of $42,973, with funding of $10,000 from the 2021-22 budget, last year's budget, and $32,973 from the Stormwater Capital Reserve Fund. Whereas the project construction redesign was approved and completed, is it hereby resolved to issue a permissive referendum for appropriating $31,484 from the Stormwater Capital Reserve.
And how much is left in the stormwater capital reserve?
There's about 60, isn't there?
Okay, so, because I saw that we had just 32, or, yeah, 32,973,
Oh, you better check.
and I wasn't sure.
You
Here we
better
go.
check that.
Here's stormwater, 38,043,
This is 32,973.
and then.
So the difference is about $6,000.
Yeah.
Well, that don't know.
July, so something, well, they can't take anything out of it
No.
unless we,
That one's 38,000.
yeah, 43.
So what's this 32,973? Is that a different number that you used for calculating?
We're not taking all the money out. We're taking the money we need to pay for this project.
This, that was what we originally said, and then now this is exactly what we're in. It's what we're in the next.
So you're taking 31,484
Correct.
to
'Cause that's
pay
what-
the bills associated with that
Correct.
reserve project, which will
Yes.
leave us with a balance of a
So,
couple grand.
$7,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I understand.
So we're taking 10,000 out.
No,
No, we're taking 31,484 from the stormwater management
Which
reserve.
was approved
Okay.
way back when, which we had approved that.
We're basically
But
paying
then-
the bills that were associated with that, doing that
Yes,
project.
that we had approved
Okay,
that we were gonna do this.
Paying the bills.
When we approved.
I moved that we pay the bill, $31,484 from the stormwater management capital reserve.
Oh, sorry.
all in favor? The next one is to authorization to adopt the Wayne County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. And I sent all of you a link to this 1,200-page plan.
Yeah. Did you read it all?
I read our part only.
I read our part only. I do have a couple questions on it, and then we'll go from there.
Are they questions that are going to get in the way of approving this resolution?
Well, let me just ask, how are we doing the training for our local people? And how, and who tracks all of that training? You know how I am about training. And because the only good that comes from a hazard mitigation plan or any emergency plans is if you actually have a program that you identify and it's practiced and it's written about.
We, every January, meet with all the county officials that help with flooding.
Uh-huh,
That's the part we test
okay.
and review every year. We do not review a nuclear attack and all those other crazy things that are in
Yeah,
Right.
Putin's a madman.
there. We're a tiny little municipality.
And we're way too close to the new plant to worry about. Let's be real, let's be
You know
real.
what's fun?
If it hits, you're not gonna.
Toxic spills and all that, we're not in charge. So.
But our employees need to be well versed in this kind of thing, so they sign off on it and that sort of
They
thing.
participate in those meetings.
Okay,
And
so,
they didn't know where the phone number is to HAZCOM to call them.
okay,
They
right,
search for them.
exactly,
That's all.
okay.
And
That could
and
be
the
our-
county puts on some state programs that we all attend to.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So the resolution is, whereas the Village of Sodas Point, with the assistance from Bold Planning, has gathered information and prepared the Wayne County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. And whereas the Wayne County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan has been prepared in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. And whereas the Village of Sodas Point is a local unit of government that has afforded citizens an opportunity to comment and provide input on the plan and actions in the plan. And whereas Village of Sodas Point has reviewed the plan and affirms the plan will be updated no less than every 5 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees that the Village of Sodas Point adopts the Wayne County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan as this jurisdiction's natural hazard mitigation plan and resolves to execute the actions of the plan.
So one last thing. When we take our part of that plan out, we have it in a little file book or something that everybody can see.
Absolutely.
And then anything that goes to that is either posted at their phones or wherever they might be.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
I move to adopt this resolution.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Bye.
All right, thank you. Oh, he's anxious, huh? Okay, so the next one is a resolution to make a budget transfer. And this is to cover the splash expenses that we had. Whereas section 5-520 of the village law allows for transfers when expenditure will exceed the estimated as shown in the budget at the time of appropriation. And whereas as of 9/15/22, the clerk treasurer has determined that the money available is insufficient to meet the required, and now therefore be it resolved that the board of directors authorizes the following transfers as shown below. So we're taking money out of contingent and moving it to tourism.
So my question on this is, and I asked about this, we haven't seen any kind of, what we took in for this, what we expended, and how it got to the point where we were affected. I think it was worth it. I think we need to address it, just to talk about it. And be able to budget for it for next year, because I think it was a great program. But just looking at,
We have a report from Dresden with some supplemental information that was requested that we can distribute.
that would be great.
She's not, record keeping is not her forte.
It's not a math girl.
Making things happen is her forte.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
did make it
she
happen.
did actually supply in all of the metrics that.
Yeah.
Good capture.
Quick
Yeah.
question, Tracy, you see you got a current balance of $200, claims 3677.95, new balance 3477, but over here you got 3677 again to transfer. No, you really only need to transfer 3477.
Well, I would like to because the 200 was in there for the budget, the regular budget, so that would leave 200 to spend as normal. And this was to cover,
So you'd be putting 200 back into the account.
to cover.
It would show a balance of 200. Okay.
So at one point, Dave, you said that we spent $12,000 of village money, but we're only transferring 36.
No, I never said we spent $12,000.
Okay, I thought that came up at the last meeting. Okay. So this is all we spent. and
This
that's
is
what
all we as a
raised.
village spent. The rest was all donated money.
Well, that's pretty wonderful then.
Good.
Depends on who the
Good
percentage
catch.
worker was.
When it was 12,000, I was a little concerned.
What was the bottom line? I didn't have that.
3677 is what it cost the village. Everything else was donated.
And we paid for the tents,
And we
the
agreed. to do
generator.
that. Yeah,
We agreed to pay for almost all of it.
okay.
We paid for the porta potties and I think there was one other thing. I don't remember what it was.
The shuttles.
The shuttle, which worked well.
Yeah.
I know it.
Well, and I think, going forward, next time we can advertise a little sooner and get
Oh,
some
yeah.
more sponsors.
Well, I think
Knock
it's
that number
very
down.
good.
So I think there was a lot of lessons learned. out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And marketing was done within the context of the time that was allotted.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it was a great
It was on the
job.
television, it was on the radio, it was on social media, so.
It was a lot of places.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I move that we accept this movement of 3677.95, leaving $200 balance as per the usual in that account.
We're also moving $147
Yeah.
from contingent to Board of Trustees contraction.
That's the two pieces.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Good, let's pay the bills.
9/1 through 9/51. Totaling 81,917.40, general fund 48,989.75, water 12,980.33, and wastewater 19,947.32.
I move we pay the bills.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any other business before we move to executive session?
The one thing I didn't put on here is we have the October 5th meeting
On ARPA funds.
on the.
6 o'clock.
Did we?
That's what I looked up tonight to make sure.
I think it was 5. I think we said 5.
I think it
Minutes.
was.
Oh, yes, yes,
Here.
5, October 5th at 6.
October 5th.
Okay, then. We need to move into executive session to talk about possible litigation. I don't expect any action to be taken. I'm going to terminate.
And can someone make a motion?
I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of litigation.
I'll second the motion.